Hello and welcome to this week's BartenderHQ.com podcast. This week we're going to be talking about the brand new Bacardi bottles that have just landed in the UK, the new style of bottle which might make a bit of a difference for flair bartenders out there. We're also going to be talking about the rest of the range that they're launching with the new Bacardi Carta Fuego, the Carta Negra, the repackaged Oro and 8-year-old. And also we'll be then touching a little bit on Benidorm, where I've just spent my last week. That's why there was no podcast last week. And the differences in bar culture in different countries and what you can do to still find yourself a decent drink.
Welcome to the BartenderHQ.com podcast. Find us on Facebook and Twitter at BartenderHQ. Here's your host, David Eden-Sangwell.
So we were one of the first websites to actually break the news that Bacardi was repackaging these. I think only the Morning Advertiser managed to beat us to that one. And they're here. So let's just grab this. I've got one of the original Bacardi bottles here with me as well. So here are the two Bacardi bottles that we know and love, and this is the new Imposter. So just taking a quick look at the two of them together for starters. You can see that the new one is very slightly taller. It's around about 10 mil or about half an inch taller than the original. The sides of this are completely flat as well. When you look at this bottle, you will see that there is no curve to the sides, whereas the old one used to sort of come out a little bit here at the foot. You don't get that with these new ones. The neck is a little bit shorter actually. The shoulder is higher up on the bottle. Now, when I took this outside and had a little bit of a play around with it earlier on today, I did find that I was actually catching the bottle a little bit higher up and sort of fouling on the neck. It could just be something that takes a little bit of getting used to. That's not a problem at all. You know, we can roll with the changes. We can deal with things changing a little bit. But it's if any of you guys out there use Bacardi bottles, especially for any sort of multi-bottle routines, anything like that, you might find that you struggle a little bit with the multi-bottle catchers now. So just bear that in mind. If you are currently using Bacardi for your flair routines, you might want to consider trying it with something else, or you might need to get hold of some of these bottles just to give it a try. Now, the other thing that's a little bit different on these, the labels have been completely redone. As you can obviously see, there is a new design to the labels. They've changed the layout of these quite a lot. The label itself is like a rough paper now, whereas the old Bacardi bottles, they used to be kind of smooth and laminated feeling. With these new bottles, these are like a rough, almost like a recycled paper. The whole bottle in general has got much more of a classic feel to it. It looks like the sort of thing you would find on the back of a bar in Cuba with the new type that they're using. You know, you've got more of the history of the brand here. Down here, I don't know if you can see that. It's Santiago de Cuba and the year that they were established, all that sort of thing. The fact that it's a family brand, all that sort of stuff is quite heavily featured on here. And as I say, these labels are like they're more of a paper than a kind of plasticky paper. So I've got a feeling that if Bacardi stays on your back bar for very long, you might notice that these labels start to peel a little bit around the edges and look a little bit old. I'm not sure if that's intentional to give it more of a rustic feel, because obviously your rums are generally used in more kind of tiki drinks and more almost rustic drinks, things like your mojitos. But it is more of a kind of a rough and ready kind of spirit than your vodkas. They're more elegant. Your rums are kind of a little bit more, I don't know, they're sort of the people's drink, if you like. And I think that's part of why it's popular. They've also gone a lot more prominent with the awards that it's won in the past. And taking a look at Bacardi's website, they are also featuring that aspect of Bacardi as well a lot more prominently on the website. In general, the other thing design-wise about this bottle that's changed is that here, in the base of the bottle, it is much more pronounced curve. It's very much like a wine bottle, where you can actually fit your fingers into the bottom of here, as if you were presenting a bottle of wine. Whereas the original Bacardi bottles, I say original, this is my second one that I ever flared with. The first one, I think, changed about the same time as Smirnoff did back in the day. And obviously this is a retail one as well, which is why it's price marked here. That's not what you would find in the bars normally. But they had a flat bottom. So again, it could affect people if you use Bacardi bottles a lot for bumps and tap backs and that sort of thing. Might make a little bit of a difference. Now, I've weighed the two bottles. They weigh exactly the same as far as I can tell. The scale I was using was not an incredibly accurate one. It was more for baking, but you know, it's pretty much the same weight. Although this one feels heavier in the hand. I don't know if it's because of the shape. So yeah, that's the new Bacardi bottle itself. Now, taking a look at the brands that have been released with this, you will notice for starters that the Bacardi Carta Blanca is now known as Carta Blanca as opposed to Bacardi Superior, which is what was the label on the classics. By the same token, they've pretty much gone with the Carta branding on everything. So you've also now got Bacardi Carta Negra, which is their dark rum, which I don't think was particularly well available. I think it was called Bacardi Black before, and it wasn't prominent in the UK at least. Whether it was available or not, I'm not certain. There's also the Bacardi Gold, which is now going to be called Bacardi Oro, I believe, everywhere. There's also Carta Fuego, which is their new spiced shooter-style rum. Though I'm not 100% certain if this is replacing Bacardi Oak Heart. I haven't seen a new bottle design for Oak Heart as yet, so there could be a new design for Oak Heart in the works too, or the Carta Fuego may well be the replacement for it. It's spicier and it is suggested to be drunk as a shot, and I actually popped into, I believe it was a Morrison's store here in the UK yesterday, and they had got the Bacardi Carta Negra and the Bacardi Carta Fuego, both available and at an introductory price of £16, which is actually pretty good when the best I could find, I think, on Amazon.co.uk at the moment is around about the £35 mark. So it's very, very cheap at the moment in Morrison's in comparison. And if you wanted to get hold of these bottles and you can't get hold of the Bacardi Carta Blanca, which will be your regular bottle soon, through your bar, and also these haven't hit the shops yet, you can get hold of either the Carta Negra or the Carta Fuego to have a little play around with the shape of the bottle. It's exactly the same bottle as far as I'm aware for both of those. The shape is very much the same. They may be different in printing because these have got a lot of embossed details here. So you've got familiar on the back, which just means family. Got the 1862 right down here in the bottom as well. So those could be different, I guess, on the Carta Fuego and the Carta Negra, but you will get the same bottle shape, and you'll be able to sort of give it a bit of a try and see how it fits in with the kind of flair that you already perform. Now, if you're looking to order these from your supplier, if you're a bar owner or a bar manager, and you're looking to get hold of the new style bottles, they are available from Matthew Clark already. That's where we ended up getting this one from. And the difference is you actually need to go into your ordering system, and you need to select it as Carta Blanca. The original, the Bacardi Superior, is still on the systems, but you can basically choose which one you order at the moment. So if you particularly want to play around with this new style, and I do recommend having a play with it, you just need to place your orders for the Bacardi Carta Blanca. The pricing is exactly the same, so it shouldn't make any difference to your bar owner. And if you're not the bar owner, go and ask your boss, see if when they place the next order, they can get you these new ones in, and then you can have a play around with the new Bacardis. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about this week is that I've just come back from Benidorm, which is, as I say, the reason that I didn't manage to get out a podcast last week. I have put up on the YouTube channel already a couple of little clips. There's one from, well, actually, it's one video that covers a couple of the bars that we went out to. So there's videos there from Gins and Tonics, which was a very nice bar that we found on the main high street in Benidorm, and also a place called D&Z Cocktails, which is a little bit down the seafront towards one of the bays, and we had some really good cocktails while we were away. We just to let you know, we were staying in a little all-inclusive place, so not particularly posh, but we had beers on tap, we had access to spirits and that sort of thing, so we could basically drink what we wanted. But we wanted to go out as well and have a little look around some of the local bars and see what the drinks culture was like in Benidorm. Now, I would say that it's got a little bit of, it's a little bit undeveloped, if I'm honest. There's, in the majority of the resorts and the majority of the bars, they are kind of geared towards people wanting cheap drinks and not being particularly worried about the quality, if I'm honest. Now, when we went out, particularly within our own resort, you'd got one draft beer on tap, which is fine. You'd also got an alcoholic beer, you'd got house red and white wine, and then you had your basic spirits. So you'd got something like vodka, something like whiskey, something like brandy, something like Malibu, that sort of thing. I can't genuinely say that the vodka was vodka because it was about 30% ABV, I believe. They're a little bit lower on the alcohol than they would need to be sort of classed as that spirit. But they had the same sort of flavours, and because of the huge pours that they do over there, to be honest, it doesn't make too much difference in terms of what you're drinking and your intoxication level. From that point of view, you're basically getting what you would get in a UK bar in terms of alcohol, but just it looks a lot more when they pour it. And these things are about €4 or €5 a litre, I think, when they buy them in. So they're not particularly expensive, and they taste okay. But if you want to go and find yourself a really good drink, these are the bars that we found that you could go to. So we'll start off with D&Z Cocktails. Now, it does have one of the better signs, I guess, outside, so I'll pop some of the clips up on the screen as well while we're having a chat about this. But D&Z Cocktails, we walked in and, to be honest, the cocktail menu impressed me. So they had things on there such as a White Russian, they had a espresso martini. The espresso martini was actually very, very good. Then my partner had a milkshake because we were there with the little one. We didn't want to be getting too drunk. So she had a lovely chocolate milkshake. I had a Long Island iced tea. And they were really well made, you know. When you're sitting there and you're waiting for your drink to come over and you can hear how long it's been shaken, that's a really good sign. It's a really good kind of indicator of what the drink's going to be like before it arrives with you. You know, it seems, I've been reading just recently a book called Liquid Intelligence, which I think I've mentioned on a previous show as well. And it's got all the graphs in there of the different shaking times and all that sort of thing, where the optimum is. And it seems that the optimum shaking time is 12 seconds. And if you shake for 12 seconds, it gets to the coldest it will be with the minimum of dilution. So that... He was shaking it around about 12 seconds for my espresso martini, and it was delicious. So yeah, D&Z Cocktails, they're over there on the main sort of drag of Benidorm. Go and check them out if you're over there. The drinks, I believe, were around about €7 for the cocktails, which is about £5. Pretty standard, you know, quite low price, to be honest. And then the second bar that we went to, which we really enjoyed, was Gins and Tonics. Now, I'm gonna put a few clips up on the screen just now of exactly what it looked like there, and it was quite a nicely done bar. You know, a huge range of gins, absolutely enormous, and I mean 150, maybe 200 gins. There was certainly 49 different tonic waters that they were serving. The menu was really extensive. For other cocktails, though, they were kind of limited. I had a Negroni while I was there. It was pretty huge for a Negroni, so I think they'd added a lot of grapefruit juice to it. But it tasted pretty good. Didn't really have enough ice. But again, it's kind of the culture over there that people don't want a drink that's stacked up with ice, but very, very tasty. It had all the right things in there, plus the grapefruit juice, and it was really good. For some reason, it had a parrot on top of it, but it tasted good. Now, I didn't have a gin and tonic while I was there, which probably was a bit of a mistake. Should have had a gin and tonic with the range that they do. But as I say, they were going from anything from around about €4 for a gin up to around about 20 to 25 for the super premiums, which again, when you've got that number of gins, you can afford to have a range up to that sort of price. It's not a problem. The bartenders, I think the main problem there was that they didn't speak English particularly well, and because it is a tourist resort, that would have helped them. However, the drinks that we did have were very, very good. If they'd spoke English better, we probably would have been able to have other drinks that were off menu, perhaps. Because they certainly had the ingredients to make them, although I think the language was what got in the way of them actually making us, my partner wanted a White Russian again, and they weren't able to make that, but I think it was purely because they didn't quite know what we were asking for. But a great bar, if you're in Benidorm, if you're ever travelling that way, do check out Gins and Tonics and D&Z Cocktails. And I'm going to leave it about there for this week. So it is a bit of a weird episode, and I know it's a bit of a sort of fill-in now that I'm back. The studio is taking shape, and there will be certainly more changes coming. There are more videos going up on our YouTube channel every day at the moment, with the basic flair moves that you guys can learn for free. Not that I have anything I charge for at the moment. Everything at the minute is free that we're putting up on the internet. There's no paid courses, although I do encourage you to check out a bar above mixology course. There's a link to it from our main homepage. It's so in-depth. It's very, very impressive. There's a whole section. There's basically 2 courses there. Each one can be bought individually, but I'd recommend you have both. One is on cocktail design. The other one is on mixology and what your ingredients are. And it's invaluable information. I honestly thought I'd be being taught to suck lemons, but having watched through half of one of the courses, I'm bombarded with information I didn't know before. How to make shrubs, how to make goodness knows what. I mean, the guys over there are absolutely superb. The knowledge is second to none, so really do check that out if you get a time. And in the meantime as well, check out our mailing list. If you sign up through the website, you will be able to get my 10 Killer Cocktails ebook. That will come straight through to you. If you don't want to hear from me again, not a problem. Click the box on the first email that comes through and you won't get any more from me. But if you do stay on there, it's a great way that I can get in touch when we've got something really, really good to share with you guys. Also, follow me on Twitter. I'm now up to about 230 from the 100 that I was on at the last episode. My partner has been very, very kind and helped me to engage with my followers, and so if you want to be one of them and you want to join in with the party, come and join us. It's at Bartender HQ, and search for Bartender HQ on Facebook to join in the conversation there. Until next week, my name's Eden-Sangwell, and I will see you again soon. Cheers.
Thanks for listening to the BartenderHQ.com podcast. Find us on Facebook and Twitter at Bartender HQ.